Okay. So this teaching would be it's generally talking about 12 link dependent origination. Means like how we circling between suffering and origin of suffering. That's the main topic. It's giving details to like a 12 link. So the last time we talked about ignorance, and then after that we talk that the action which is led by ignorance. So today the topic is the consciousness. Good morning. So consciousness refers to Buddhists. That consciousness is the first birth when we're in the mother wombs, right? Since then, we counted the consciousness, one of the two are linked dependent, which is the number three. Say ignorance led the actions brings you some consciousness. It's talking about the birth, but we can use that for like after actions, what thought changes, something like that, right? Sometimes thought change action, some action change thoughts. So mainly here talking about the consciousness and our general thought. So and again, let you know that line not every single line is there from the commentary, Book of Kadam. I just selected few necessary line which I see it. Okay. So thus here the lines thus far away from the great mirror of desire, meditate single pointedly upon impermanence. Hooked by the irons, the what called? Suddenly, I will die. Yeah. So yeah, yank back the rope of the lasso of your mind. Okay. So again, continues talking about that the cause of suffering. Here, more talking about the cause of suffering is desire, right? So for antidote for that, to overcome by that saying is meditate on impermanence, which is we talked many times. And so this after this line, beneficial it is to distinguish yourself from companions and servant. Beneficial it is to cut fetter, right? The fetters in all their forms. Beneficial it is to dismantle all the heap of sufferings. Beneficial it is most certainly to seek a refuge. So what is refuge here? Refuge is ourself, right? So good morning. So your refuge is actually you, because you we say we are our protector, or we are our own enemies. That's therefore refuge should be go your own self, and but within your own self there are body and mind and so many pieces there. The mind is the main that you can take refuge. So taking refuge means kind of like a protect yourself, so your mind can protect yourself. This is the 100% sure, right? So if you properly or willing to follow some kind of instruction, then that's 100% sure. Instead of we depending other to change to self, that's difficult. It's not 100% sure. So rely to other. Someone comes to me to change. Almost difficult. So the changing yourself is the best, by yourself is best, and then our own mind is the main refuge, which can directly protect to us. So which is lead us free from suffering and so on, what we're talking here. So and then it says how we should change our mind, how we should protect ourselves. Then it's like a few different, giving example, like a few daily actions, how we need to do is, he said, beneficial, it is to trick excessive speech with mantra repetitions. Beneficial, it is to trick, right, excessive chores with circumambulations. Beneficial, it is to trick standing and sitting with the prostrations. Beneficial, it's to trick sleepiness into meditations. Transform sleeping into meditations. For those yearning for food, it is beneficial to increase concentrations. What we're saying is our daily actions, like a body, speech, mind, all these daily actions, be a positive. Giving here example saying instead of like excessive speech, do recitation more mantra. The recite mantra is one choice to make your speech better, but the silence is also better. Or less talk is also good. So instead of like reciting mantra, or you can read book. What we're saying is here, the speech, how you control the speech. This is most important part, just controlling our own speech, because this speech cause the problem in our daily life. Yeah. So therefore, controlling speech, giving here example, the mantra is repetitions, but as I mentioned, instead of mantra repetition, you can talk less, or you can be silent, or you can read the book. The mantra, I think, is not necessary always, which is refers with one of the religious parts. So you can say compassion, 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 right? So you can recite that, also helpful. Or you can say the all sentient beings my relative, all sentient beings my relative. Or you can say the peaceful. All this, sometimes in Hindu, they recited kind of shanti, 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 right? Shanti means peaceful. So that kind of things you can recite it, which would remind you or help you to change or calmness. That word you can use, you can repeatedly recite it. So that's good. That could be mantra, right? So mantra not necessarily om mani padme hum. So that's the saying here. And then is it like a beneficial chorish, like means like a or chores with a circumambulation. Chores here is like so many action in our daily life. It's kind of there are two things necessary or unnecessary. So which is unnecessary things, or you taking more action negatives. That's change it and turn it positive. Giving here example of circumambulations. But instead of circumambulation, you can do exercise.
Geshe, what is a circumambulation? Sorry, I can't say it.
Oh, yeah, okay. Circumambulation is we are like a walking, circling to the temple or some stupa.
Going in a circle,
Yeah, going in circle, yeah.
over and over again.
Yeah.
Okay.
So regarding Buddhist, we think this is the one path to accumulation merit or accumulation the virtues. But another people can be seen as a part of exercise, right? So you can do exercise, or you just would say your daily actions also should be turned into the more positive. If you see or realize something that you're taking action negative, stop it, and then try to do more positive actions. There's a saying here. Circular meditation is the one action, the one example, right? And then say standing and sitting is like a prostration is the giving example here. So beside that, you can do anything. The prostration is here one of the Buddhist or maybe most of religious the actions. But regarding Buddhism, this is it's just try to reduce your own pride, ego. The bowing down, or sometimes we completely lying down on the ground to touch their feet, my head to touching their feet. So it's very difficult to do it. Even you can do it, right? So
what does a full prostration look like, Geshe?
what's that?
What does a full prostration look like? And then what do prostrations look like?
I don't know. That's you can the watch the YouTube and so many things there. So, but generally, I'm just taking is let you know that doing prostration regarding Buddhism is like a part of the practice that's reducing your own pride and ego, right? So this is the main reason to doing prostration. It's not the tradition. So therefore, if I want things repeated, any actions or practice regarding Buddhism, it always goes apply antidote for one of the afflictions. This is the things. Sometimes we might not know, sometimes difficult to understand this practice, how could reduce my one of the afflictions, mental afflictions, right? If you have that kind of thoughts, you should definitely ask question. So how it's benefit to me to reduce my own ego or some other afflictions. Right? So the prostration is one of that. So giving an example, do that instead of like a negative or unnecessary standing and sitting there, right? So then beneficial to transform sleepiness to meditations. Um, again, every single sleepiness we cannot transform into the meditation because it's necessary in our body, needed. We need to relax. It's important that with that contamination body. So relaxation is needed. Therefore, we need to sleep definitely. But oversleeping or most of the time sleeping, that should reduce that same. So instead of that, do more meditations. Meditation causes us sleeping again. So this is depend. If you're really tired, then meditate cause you sleep. Or if you aging, also meditation cause you sleep. There are few different meditation, right? The walking meditation and every movement, every actions in your daily life. You should have a focus on mindfulness. This is part of the meditation. So that's also benefited. Okay, so and then next year, beneficial is to seek the excellent companionship of refunds moon. So that's we already talked many times. So always being you spend your time with positive people or like some kind of not necessarily spirituality, more the positive persons, or if you like spend time or accompanying with more positive, then it can inspire you to change automatically, right? So yeah, in Tibetan we say "Kangshi sergili la captain." once you lying on golden mountains, then whichever you're touching on that part's turning into the golden. Or whenever you're lying on a poison uh, uh, mountain, so that part where you touch it like a mountain, that's turning like to the more poisons. Then that's the meaning here. If you spend time with the more positive people, then you can see every time you can a lot of learn, and then it's kind of automatically transform you to change more positive, being positive. So this is one of the necessary in our daily life to do practice, because you if you cannot do by your own self, if you do not have enough effort or strength by doing your own self, then found the good environments, the good person, supportive person, and spend time with it. So that also a lot of help. Maybe 50% can help them from to you, then 50% for your effort. That's how we need to change, right? This is very important. Otherwise, even you doing very good practice in your home by your alone, but once you go to the community or some group or some gathering, there are many negative people, and again, change it, right? Negative people is not necessarily always teach you some kind of killing, lying things, right? So who try to waste your time? It could be you can consider as a negative, right? Say you meditate on your house, like whatever you meditate, compassion or so on, so on, and your mind is very positive and like have a very energy of the positive, right? Then you go to community and they're singing, dancing, and slowly your mind is changed. You want more sing and you want more dance. You hang around with them, and you will forget completely that what you meditate morning, or like it's completely changed. Then go back doing again meditation. Again, you need a 100% effort to as like you beginning. This is how change us. If you have a very good energy or enthusiastic to do meditation on compassion, being continuous with someone who talks about compassion and who meditate, or you keep things by yourself, or you read the book of compassion, that will keep it. Then once you go back to meditation again, you don't need that much effort, because already there. That's how we develop and increase our own positive thoughts, right? So otherwise, totally change. If you go like the dancing, singing, hanging there, its mind is totally changed. Then going back is difficult, and that is not the difficult only. This is also it's once it change completely your thought and motivation, all these thinkings, then you might be cannot go back to that compassion meditation again, because you might forget it, or you might don't have energy to doing that, or you see, oh, this is difficult for me, because that other side is very enjoyed, singing, dancing, hanging, that's very you enjoy it. Then going back and then sit down in a cushion, you might find difficult, and you might see is suffering. Then you might see it's not necessary. This is how we change it, right? So this is danger. Therefore, it's good to stay with the good company or positive persons that the saying here. And continues here, beneficial it is to recognize the root of the suffering. That's what we talked many times. Beneficial is to cast, right? The self-grasping to the wind. Beneficial is to carry your enemies upon your shoulders. What does this mean? And your enemies upon your shoulders. What do you think it on it?
I think it means that like you don't treat them as your enemies. Like you carry them there as in like you're not viewing them as your enemies, but you're carrying them there as like a reminder that they don't have to be your adversary. I mean, I see that also as carrying them on your shoulders, like you're helping them. You're doing something positive for them, carrying them so they don't have to walk. I don't know. So that you're doing something for them to change your view of now they're not your enemy anymore.
You carrying on shoulder means like you like be nice.
Right, like
There's
you're
a-
helping them and, you know, transforming your view of them as enemies into something, hey, now they're not my enemy anymore, you know.
Oh, okay.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, yeah, that could be. So carrying your enemies upon your shoulders. Um, that's one things. Another things, learn from enemies, right? So if you remember, actually, there one of the drum timbers, he's like a guidance to like a holy persons. He said on that guide, which I repeat a lot, say, if you want to change the best teacher or learn best things you can learn from enemies, right? So yeah, we have one monks here. We just talked yesterday. So it's saying sometime he teasing me. Sometimes you should listen to someone to talk. Um, sometimes we will not recognize ourselves what we're doing it. And my answer was, I don't have to worry about that. So I can learn from my close one who gives nice advice or book, right? Teacher. Also, I can learn from my enemy who talks all this negative. They're pointing actually our faulty. So our friends will not point us to our faulty things, right? The bad things, bad action or bad thought, they will not say. But our enemy or people who really don't like us, they will point it to you. You do this wrong, right? You did that wrong. So that's the part of the learning. There was yeah, negative things I can learn from my enemy, positive things I can learn from my teacher and friends, spirituality and dharma friends. I don't have to worry. So therefore, enemy is part of that, which is rare actually, rare, right? Who are pointing you directly what is your wrong actions, misconceptions, and then faulty things. Almost no one telling us because they're scared or they're nice to us. All right. So therefore, they might we will not hear that again and again, right? Constantly. But when you have more people who dislike to you, you hear a lot, which is good, right? So the sometimes people might made it up, but sometimes they might say it what actually I have it, right? So before you reject it or before you get mad, we have to think one time, okay, they're saying me this. Really? Just checked it, right? And then if I found it that some faulty from my own, then yeah, they're right. So I should change. This kind of things, right? You want to say something? Okay. So therefore, it's kind of like a necessary to who talks out directly that our fault and wrong things. And then there's this people who don't like us. um, and then also Dharma teaching. Dharma teachings is talks directly everything. What is samsara and how beings samsara's thought, how samsaric beings' thoughts and their actions, what there comes to them, what everything talks clearly, right? This is sometimes we say that Dharma is the mirror that I can see who am I. So yeah, that's part maybe carrying your enemies up on your shoulders. Beneficially, it's always banish the blame their what called true source, right? Um, Unbeneficially, it's to streak the evil treat with the antidotes, and then beneficially to destroy the instant it arrive. Okay, so what this means like a beneficial, it is destroy it the instant it's arrived. What arrived means like a negative thoughts, and mental affliction. Whenever you realize or recognize it's manifested, then immediately we should try to vanquish or like reduce it. So yeah, this is again difficult, right? That is difficult. It's depend on your daily practice. Let's say we have very strong anger. At that moment, we know I'm having anger, but same time we know I should reduce that, but cannot, because it's keep disturbing us to have another thought. The anger, strong anger, semi-strong desire, keep disturbing us to have another thought. So even we know what thought should be manifested, what happening right now is wrong, we knows, but when we try to change, it's keep disturbing. It's not having like an ability to change at that moment because the desire and angers are too strong, right? So once it's manifested very strong, it's difficult to change it. So, but it's still doable. So if you do daily practice, every day you are practicing, recognize those are faulty and wrong, which I should eliminate. And then positive mind, like kindness and compassion, I should develop. If you every day know that and then apply your own practice daily, then it you can change instantly at the moment. In otherwise, it's very difficult to change instant in the moment as soon as it arises, right? So if you look at the Kadamba masters teaching, they said, I always guide my mind. Like I say, someone God has like earlier, in front of door.
Guard.
The guard, yeah. So in front of the guards there. So but instead of that person guard, my mind is guard, right? So I was watching to my mind every moment. And then as soon as kind of like manifesting or almost nearly manifest any negative thoughts and afflictions, then it's saying I'm just smashing on their head. So putting down. So that's that they said, right? That's that my main job, my everyday job, main job is watching my mind. And then as soon as I see some negative comes, I stopped it. That's let's say their main job in their daily life. So therefore, if we could do that, yeah, if they can do that, why we cannot do that? But they have a more interesting to that. We do not have an interesting to that. This is the difference. Otherwise, we can do it. So, or we say they think it's more their, as the Katama Master said, that's my main job, my principal job in my daily life. But our principle is a little bit different than Kadamba Master practitioner, right? So our principle could be that different as we are for surviving life or some other things regarding that point. Our principle might be different, but their principle could be our principle, right? So, so that's here says instant in arrive. And by searching will wherever you reside, benefits to the destroy in the moment you found. Oh, okay. It's kind of like similarly saying that such aggregate is the link of consciousness. And then it's describing our thought, and same time it's explained to us to how change our thought to some positive. So now here, next describing our thought, because it's here the part of talking consciousness within dwelling dependent origination, and that consciousness refers to our the mental consciousness, which is main our thoughts, and the five sense consciousness included there, right? So five sense consciousness, sometimes we call door, the door of what's say consciousness of door. That's the saying. Because our thought, most of thought comes from eye consciousness, ear consciousness, or some other five sense consciousness, right? We see some beautiful, attractive, or like a attachment. We see some ugliness, anger, right? So, and we see something like different things, and it could be the ignorance, right? So therefore, this five sense consciousness we call the door of consciousness or conscious door, which is changing our main thoughts. Yeah.
Krishna, is the consciousness that comes up in the 8 stages of dissolution different from the consciousness that you're describing now?
Different from what other you said it?
From the consciousness you have been describing this, is the consciousness that is one of the stages of dissolution
In death.
the same, yes, the same as what you're,
It should be same, yeah.
okay.
Do we dissoluting consciousness? When we do dissoluting consciousness?
You told me about this. It comes before the near attainment darkness and then clear light, but right before those two, you told me there is a stage of consciousness.
Stages.
Right, like the mirror-like wisdom goes, like that stuff.
Oh, okay. So the tantric path, that's dissoluting actually means stop to functioning it.
Yeah.
That means, right? Stop to functioning. That's this gross level consciousness. But that what we're talking here, consciousness could be both, right? But the gross level consciousness, we nearly die, right? All this like a gross level consciousness stop to functioning.
I would say he's talking about mental factors.
Yeah.
I think I understand. Could you say that again, please?
So therefore, when we nearly die, all the gross level consciousness stopped it to function. They're no more functioning it.
Body function.
So that's just how we say the dissolved consciousness. And that is gross level consciousness. And then the subtle level consciousness is regarding Buddhism, it will take life to life, right? So, but that what I'm talking right now, consciousness, yes, both refers with the both gross level and subtle level consciousness. Mainly here, when we talk about the five sense door, or like the door of consciousness is gross level. The five sense consciousness are very gross levels, right? So yes, that's what I'm talking here. Okay, so therefore, the five sense doors, as I try to explain that, we call it the door, that five sense consciousness, because our thought and motivations, everything's is driven by or changing by this five sense. Most of the time, it's not always, right? So most of the time, it's driven by or changing by the five sense doors. Right? As I give example, we hear the very nice music, and then our thoughts kind of change it. Or like we hear the harsh word or some criticisms, then our motivation and thoughts are changed. So the door is like a change. But that changing our mental consciousness is not necessarily always changed by this five door, but most of the time, yes, the five doors change themselves, right? Okay, so therefore, and when we talk about the moral ethics is try to stop to seeing or hearing this five sense consciousness connecting with the negative. because that's the way how we need to control our mind. So without changing that, directly controlling mind is very difficult, right? So first we have to change what we see, what we hear, what we taste, and everything. So not attached on the smell, good smell, and then not angry on a bad smell, and so on, right? So the moral ethics is kind of like a controlling your the body action, the actions, and then five sense consciousness, and then through by that, and then change our mental consciousness, right? So this is the gentle way to change our thoughts, to changing through by the changing the moral ethics. Okay, so but you see, I will read the next lines. It talks about that just one time reading it, you will understand. It talks about our daily thoughts. Maybe Chappelle, can you read this? It deceives on the.
It deceives on the pretext of I am, this source of downfall that needs everything. The profits and victories, it's not enough to get these, but he wants more. The grounds for his wants are himself, or he himself. Sons and daughters, I want. Farms and houses, I want. Things and devices, I want. Clothing and jewelry, I want. Treasuries and their contents, I want. Circles of friends and servants, I want. Fame and praises, I want. Sacred books and icons, I want. Retinues and disciples, I want. Gifts and services, I want. Residents and retreats, I want. I am and I want everything. I am the best in this world, learned and diligent. I alone am. In family lineage and birth, I excel. So in this world, it's me, I, the owner of tea. What's this name?
Probably I.
On of the.
The owner of I who wants everything.
Yeah.
He is therefore born in the mires of desire.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I'd say it's I.
Yeah, it is I.
Yeah.
so sometimes we say when we talk about attachment and desire, our ego say, I want everything. I am the best. But the word is too like a what called the breathe it. So it's not that help. Sometimes you split it. You like what could make more category as like we making here. That's a good meditator. So when you say it's everything I want. When my self-grasping talks, self-grasping feel that everything I want. My desire talks, desire to everything I want. What is everything I want? Then you break it out, make more category. You see, what are we thinking? This and that, this and that, this and that. That will be makes you better feeling or understand better if you break instead of saying everything I want. Everything is just one word. And then it will not really shows you exactly details how you're thinking that everything I want, right? If you make more breakdown, and then you will see, oh yeah, now everything's I want. Here's as same. This is the I think in represent our daily life. This is short list, right? Very short list. So say what I wanted. So you can further add it on it. So what really it is, right? So, but the conclusion is yes, everything I want, I'm the best in the world. This mind is 100% misconceptions, right? What is not happening or what is wrong. And then that's caused us all this problem and suffering. So therefore, we be a satisfaction, that's what we're talking, and be a humbleness, right? That's the thing, yeah.
So sometimes like that's referring to self-cherishing of like wanting, but not necessarily always like versus what your needs are, right? So like sometimes some people can get it confused with needs versus
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They think that they need it, but it's actually a want.
Mhm.
as opposed to a necessity.
Yeah. So here I want everything's refers with desire, right? But and last few class I mentioned it. Every time which is thinking I want is not necessarily desire, because wishes will say I want to achieve enlightenment, or I want to be a positive, I want to cultivate compassion. Those things is not necessarily desire. So, but here everything goes with a desire. Therefore, differentiating or separating our thought, which is I want, is very difficult to separating from desire. So,
So I think a few weeks ago, you said the difference is, you aspire.
mhm.
I was gonna say that.
When you. I aspire.
Yes, yes, yes,
That's,
yeah.
that's the difference.
Yeah. So aspire and also like a wanting, lacking is not necessarily a desire, but so far every single thing is what here right now, what we're thinking, wanting, lacking is associated with a desire, right? But every time it's not necessary to go with the desire. Yes. Okay. So again, one last term repeating those lists. If you like mix more category to think, this is part of meditation. Meditation is just calm and try to see everything clear, right? If you have more details or long list, that will let you help to see more clear, right? So instead of short words, say everything. That's kind of it good feel to you. You will kind of feel it, yes, everything. But what everything? Then you might not know. If you go with the details, then because in our daily life, always connecting with the detail, not the everything, right? So, and then at the moment it will recognize, okay, that word, that line, that actions, yes, it is kind of like a ruining my life, or sometimes deadlines benefiting to my life, or so on, so on. So always goes with the detail. It's better. That's the reason we say understand clear. Understand everything means understand details, right? So otherwise, every beings are suffering. That's short form. And then we say, do we know? Yes, we know. Then when we break down and go teach more detail, then so many things you will not know that. So similarly, in our daily life, the short line give us some kind of feeling or feel us that I understand it, but not really understand it until you have a long list or like a mix more category. They really don't understand it. So if you long list or mix more categories, that might be help us to bring more question to say, oh yeah, this is not really, right? So it's like everything's it's saying in daily life, everything's I want it, but not really that part is what I really don't want it, right? If you go with the detail, then you will realize what you want it, what you don't want it. So, but desire is limitless. A desire, that's again the short form. Saying desire or attachment is that limitless, that the wanting. So, as he is saying, yeah, it says that we cannot fill up the we say our desire. We cannot fulfill our desire, but we can fulfill our necessary in daily life, right? Which is needed. But we cannot fulfill our desire because desires, it's like at the beginning, say, okay, I need $10,000. Once you have it, then it's turned into 20,000. After million, then still you need it. Still you need it. Still all this desire, right? So never ended that I need and I want. until then you control it, say, okay, that's enough, right? So otherwise it's continuous increases. That's the desire. Therefore, it's a cannot wish fulfill our desire because it's limitless goals, right? So but how we cannot fulfill, then you settle down, calm mind, try to see details, then you will know, right? If otherwise, right now, it cannot fulfill our desire. It could be make sense to you. That word is not help you in daily life. Even you make sense for you. Even you think that I understand. It's not helpful in your daily life because you do not have a details. Right? So that makes big difference. So and then conclusions here talks about a few line. I do not add it on here. The part of talking about the third, the consciousness which is within the one of the two link dependent originations. So the giving example as like a monkey. The monkey is not seated on the one place. Monkey is not the calmness as same as like our mind, and then always connected with the five door senses consciousness, and then like a endless having thoughts and endless having like a thinking and thinking and thinking, right? This is more danger when you are alone, actually. When you're alone, then yeah, you think a lot. So once you think a lot, then it goes limitless. You lose. Same time, it's kind of like a building up the bad habit. You know, sometimes we say, "Oh, I have a right to think." Yes, you have a right to think, and therefore, why I cannot think? Yes, you should think, but you shouldn't forget that. Same time, you're building the bad habit, which is cause you the problem in the future, right? Therefore, it says stop to think. Even you have a right to think, stop to think, right? That's the moral ethics that we need to control. So, therefore, sometimes our thoughts goes with so many unnecessary things, you know. If I have $1 million, that's how I begin it. That's thought, right? I'm going to building and then buying big property and nice car and goes and goes and goes and goes 1 hour, 2 hours, 10 hours. And then after 10 hours, what do you get it? Nothing, right? Well, all this, your energy thoughts, like a kind of like you run the machines very fast. It's like you takes your energy, that's it. But finally you got nothing. Right. So therefore it's a be a practical is more important than dreaming a lot. So we should have a dream, but necessary dreams, important dreams, beneficial dreams, positive dreams. That's okay to think. Yeah. Otherwise, we might kill a lot of our enemy in our thoughts, right? Okay, right. So we get angry and we cannot do it, and physically we cannot do anything. But so okay, if I made this, then I will kill and I will defeat, I will beat, or so many things we might done. All this negative. This is how I built our bad habit. 1 time, 2 time, 3 time. Then it sticked our mind. Even we don't think it comes now. It's popped it out. Once it popped it out, you follow it, right? This is how change our daily thoughts. So therefore, the beginning parts, stopping on the way beginning is better. So this is the, thinking is also could be the analytical meditation. Actually, you are increasing either attachment or aversions or ignorance or other mentalities. You're just increasing those, whatever you think, right? Thinking more is more reasoning or more analyzing which is analyzing to increase those mental afflictions. Again, it's called turn into the problem, right? So therefore, it's very dangerous. So they're to thinking a lot. Okay.
Yes,
Mhm.
Are you saying, so like, it's not good to do too much analytical meditation? Like, or is it, are you separating that, like actually analyzing to like point out your bad behaviors and figure out what to do? That's not what you're talking about, right?
I'm separating, yeah.
Okay,
Separating.
all right.
So saying that most of our analytical, which is most of our thought, if it is analyzing something, if you go with the naturally, you are increasing one of the mental afflictions,
Okay.
either desire or anger or so on. So, right? So intently we are meditating on and analyzing, meditating on some point. That easy realizes because it's difficult to do it, or you need the effort. The other analytical, we don't need the effort.
Right.
It comes like, right? So therefore, so separating those, not do more analyzing or analytical meditation, which can increase mental afflictions, right? Negative thoughts. That's the point you're saying. Okay, so this is a lot of thoughts, limited thoughts. We keep thinking, and then what really think? We get nothings, right? And then also, our daily life, our natural thoughts are very far from seeing or realizing the actualizing or fact or reality, right? So most of our thought, it's go reverse actually, because it's reverse means what we want is peace and happy, but our thoughts go reverse to not collecting the cause of happy and peace. It's because most of our thoughts can be say judgmentaling, or you just guessing, or even you're not guessing, you think it's right or it's wrong. What we are deciding right or wrong or bad and good are, say, 80% is wrong. Right? 80% is actually wrong. We're saying it bad and good or wrong, right and wrong. So that much our minds, like very far from seeing actual reality, right? So, and then we are more close to negativities and more close to seeing wrongs. We're more doing the wrongs because we are always close to the mental afflictions, right? It's very far from seeing actual reality. For example, impermanent. Even we are not see suffering is suffering, right? So many suffering, we did not see it is suffering. And then, of course, then very far from seeing the cause of suffering, right? What we see in cause of suffering is not the cause of suffering. The actual cause of suffering is what we not see it. That must be far to reaching to the reality. So this is our mainly general thought. So therefore, whatever you think, love, it's very far from seeing reality. You follow me? Okay, so this is how we describe our thought and consciousness within here. One of the lead us circling in samsara, right? But that consciousness, same consciousness, it's keep like let's circling us with suffering, but the same consciousness can be bring us enlightenment. Same consciousness can be freeing from suffering. But right now it cannot, because it's associating with that wrong and bad cause and condition, right? So, but when it's change it, then same consciousness can bring you everything. nice up to enlightenment regarding Buddhism, right? So, which is the consciousness keep destroying us or keep bringing problem us, keep cause us having suffering. Same consciousness can, because consciousness is like a sky. It's clear. The cloud comes and goes. When clouds comes, the clear space, like a space makes like a kind of dirty, right? That's how our consciousness is. Like it itself is training bad or good. This is the potential of one of the main characteristic or the reality of our consciousness, which is can build everything, good or bad. Or we can remove everything, good or bad. It's all depend on our own self, and then own self means if you go naturally, whatever comes, then you are moving forward, you're moving the wrong toward, right? So if you want to change it, then need the mindfulness and effort to change that, right? Not let it go naturally as we goes, right? So that's, if you do that, then also the same consciousness has a potential to change you better.
So that there's it's hard to discern for me often whether the right course of action is to eliminate the parts of your life that contribute to negative afflictions versus working on being free of the afflictions in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in a situation that you can change, you feel the conflict of, is my desire to change
Mm-hmm.
an affliction?
Mm-hmm.
Should I stay with this challenging situation as a part of my practice and be mindful and make the effort to understand why that situation is negative and how I can avoid the negativity or allowing the negativity to affect me? Or is it okay to say, I can change this in a way that helps my development on the path?
Mm-hmm.
How do we discern whether that is an unskillful thought to want to change your situation thinking that it will help your practice?
Okay. I'm not really clear that. So can you make me shorter?
If I'm in a situation that I feel is not conducive to development on the spiritual path,
Okay.
but I can change that situation.
Uh-huh. I see.
Which is the more skillful act, to stay and develop stronger practice in the challenging situation, or to go ahead and change it into a situation that is easier to practice and offers more peace and more positive benefit?
Oh, okay. So the situation changing is actually depend. So when we change, always has the first step, second step, third step, right? So you are kind of like a changing situation is like the big movements, right? So stay with what you have challenge in daily life, right? But at that moment, every like a thoughts, like anger or whatever thoughts come, that should change it. That we can take as a first moment, like a first changing, first part of changing, right? So stay with it. Then we get the best things. I already mentioned that the changing your environment is help us to better develop, and then always be continuous. Or better say less challenge. If you change all these environments, right? Less challenge. But if you stay with the same environment and same challenging, it's more challenge to change because it's too much up and down, but it's still doable. It's still doable, right? So sometime, like say family, so it's necessary to stay with the family as a householder. That's the important part. But within that, there are so many need to change even in the family or which is all change need to be changed to the mind, right? So we cannot say, oh, you right away become a monks or give up everything. We cannot say that. You have to be stay with their the family to taking care of them. But while doing that, and then usually if you have a lot of fighting or a lot of negative thoughts or a lot of like a mental reflection, that part should be changed within staying in the same family, right? And then this is the only choice. It's more challenge, but it's doable. It's choice. That's
If you have the choice, it's not unskillful to take it, is it? If you have
a choice, yeah, that's if you have a choice, then maybe a choice better environment. Yeah. So this is the helpful, yeah. So
Geshe,
uh-huh.
I remember asking a very similar question about, I don't know, 10 years ago. And
Okay.
the answer that I got was something to the effect of sometimes, like, say it's a family situation or very, very dear friends, but it's really an untenable situation, very bad.
Uh-huh.
The advice that was given to me by a monk was sometimes it's okay to back away and to know, don't make judgments. You're just not strong enough. But the most important piece of the advice was it's okay to do that, to back away, but do it without anger. And I thought that was very sound advice.
Yes, yeah. That is
I'm just sharing that.
Okay. So that's the same I'm saying here to change your anger,
mindfulness as opposed to reacting. You don't want to react quickly and thoughtlessly, but if you're mindful of the reasons.
Yes, that's a lot of help, right? Yeah. So best things, we not wait until the problem comes, right? So as we are trying to changing ourselves based on your previous experience, that could be happening today, that could be happening tomorrow, and then what I should do. So if you think like more advanced, then you can stop to having any problem. Or even having problem, you can change easily in your mind because you are every day you're thinking it. It's very important to think every day or more prepared. Even not happening right now, as a preparing, you do practice every day. So this is the helpful, right? So yeah. Okay. So yeah, this is I'm just trying to describe that our consciousness is the far from more fact and reality, and then sometime we think I'm smart, but on recording, our mind is not seeing reality, or it's very far from seeing reality. It's not really smart, but we feel it. I'm smart, but we might have a smart on some occasions, some situations that we are smart, but we are not really smart to like getting benefit or having more peaceful and like a happiness life. Right? That part we are not really smart, but we might be smart to like fix some machines, right? We might be smart to how to talk skill to others. Yeah, some point might be smart, but generally, we are kind of like what we call dull faculties.
Like what?
Dull faculties.
Dull faculties.
Right? Because we not see the actual reality. Very far from it.
Is that when they say dull faculty, sharp faculty, you know, I've heard about that in my readings. I hear it a lot in the podcasts I listen to. Can you change that, or is that just how you are in this life? You're a dull faculty.
Definitely we
person.
can change it.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
like, are you stuck? Like you were born a dull faculty and you're just you gotta wait till the next one?
No.
Sharp faculty.
Definitely we can change
Okay.
it. Definitely we can change it. So sometimes it takes longer time, sometimes it's like it get easy. That's the depend. Otherwise, 100% that I believe 100% we can change it. This is how my background to saying that, my logic to saying that is recently as like just previous I said the potential of mind, the reality of our minds, reality of our thoughts, right? And as a human being has an additional extra good analytical mind, right? So that's all our opportunity, that gift. We can say that our gift, right? We have a great gift. So based on that, I'm saying yes, we can 100% change. Yeah. Yeah. Chandra Gomi, one of the Indian Pandit, in is not in the 17 Pandit. Chandra Gomi, when he was young, everyone's seeing his dull faculties, and then he's very worried and sad about it. And then somehow, I don't remember what practices, he meets some kind of the great teacher and then teach him some part of meditation, and then he become a very sharp minds and intelligence. He turned that. That's also you can take as possible, right? Dull figure is not always remaining as a dull faculty, but it might be remaining if you are keep thinking I'm dull faculties. Right? We shouldn't think that. We always keep hope, or like that hope could be change, like it comes true, right? So because that hope has some kind of access or some kind of reaching their goal. Therefore, good to have that hope to say I'm not always being dull faculty. I can change it, right?
And we could think like, you know, I mean, maybe like it doesn't have to be in general. It's like there's a part of me that's, you know, that when it comes to this, I'm a dull faculty, but I've been making progress towards sharper faculty on this part. And then eventually, once you've worked on everything enough, then maybe everything changes. But
yeah, so if you realize something that you are sharp, so then this is one of your characteristic. I do have a this, then same thing why I cannot do here and there, right? As I said, it takes time sometime or sometime like easy. That's only different. Otherwise, yes, but we can do that. So and then one problem is our consciousness, even we think intelligence or sharp faculties or smart, but we really don't have a long-term goal. That mind do not have a long-term goal. Further long-term goal is, let's say, okay, this life. Once I become aging, I'm doing this. When I die, then I'm doing this. This is the longest aim we have it. We don't have a further that. So and then but if we talk only this lifetime, even we do have that kind of things to long aim to. When I become aging, I will do that. When I become when I die, and then my body do this and that. So, but we not have a long term how I can be happy and peaceful live when I become aging, right? We don't have that. So our hope is money, right? So when I might have a peaceful and happy because of money, I have it. It's not, we clearly see this is not the helpful or reliable, right? So, and most of us, the part of the happiness which we're really seeking is not preferring as long terms. When I become aging, then how I can be a peaceful and happiness and calm. We not prefer for that. All right. So that part we're missing it, therefore not really smart. Because we are not thinking actual what we wanted, but we're thinking some parts that what we needed, right? Which is not the actual what we wish to have it. We continuously wish to have it happiness until die, but we never prefer for that. What we prefer is not reliable for having these things. That's just the wrong. We're doing constantly wrong again and again and again, right? So smart or not smart. So that part is not really smart, right? So if you want to be that part become a more smart for that part, then we should prepare right now what really makes me to calm and happy, right? Then kindness, compassion, and so on, that we always talk. So we're not ready for that. Yeah, right now I'm busy with doing something else. Right now I have to be busy with doing like helping my neighbors and friends. I'm busy with doing like meeting someone. All these things I'm busy with doing. Whatever we are busy, keep busy right now. It's not busy for having peaceful mind in the future or calm, like a peace, happy life. All the busy is collecting something or like a which is not reliable. You might collecting reputations, you might collecting money, or we might collecting the name and fame. All these are not reliable. That I don't have to repeat as text said it. That's very true for me. So whatever we're collecting, it's not turning into helpful at the end time. But whatever necessary we need it for in the future, we are not collecting it. This is how we are. They will say the mind, thoughts, our thought is not 100% smart, some parts, right? Yeah. Okay. So next, we just left over that other dwelling different originations talks continuously, also talking that between relationship and how move our life to turn to the suffering. So we'll cover it next time. So I'm going to stop here today. If you have any question and further discussion, welcome. So just let you know when I talk this, including myself, okay? Not really smart means not just you, it's including myself. It's not really smart, yeah.
I know it's non-secular, but I think a switch for me is concentrating what I can take with me. I can't take money.
Yeah,
I can't take property.
definitely.
I can't take, all the things that I think I want to collect. All that gets left behind.
Yeah.
So what can I take with me? It's in here. It's
That's virtue and imprints are right.
Right.
Yes. Even it's you owes until you die, but it's not reliable
Right.
to what I needed. Right. So special when we are young or that kind of time, we can handle it, no problem. But when we become aging, it's again we turn into the baby.
Yeah.
Right? So we turn back to the baby. We should rely on so many people. We should rely on many things. This is the moment you should make on self happy and calm. Right? And then making that this is the time to make that. So as one time I mentioned, right? What we learn a young time to preferring right now. So learning, study, go to college, school, all things we prefer it When I become a young, what I need to do, how I can handle my family and so on, so on. It's happening now. What we learn, it's help, then you should also prepare for our aging. Yeah, we cannot say we are staying until that, but we always go in the dark. So that's we need to prepare for that. Yeah.
Question about this. When we use the word enemy,
uh-huh.
In Tibetan, is it exactly enemy? Because, you know, when we use the word enemy, I sometimes scratch my head because I'm thinking, who is a true enemy in my life?
Uh-huh.
I think it's a very powerful word.
Yeah.
So
I think that's interesting.
I can't figure out anyone. I don't have a real true enemy. Yes, people who annoy you, irritate you, make you angry, but that doesn't necessarily make them my enemy. So when we use the word enemy in our discussions, do you mean someone who's not friendly? Better description? Right?
Oh no. So not friendly weather is not necessary. It could be neutral, right? So maybe who harms us?
Yeah, that
But
might be
harms us in
better.
what way? Meaning harms us.
Like in many different way. Like I say, who like disturbing us to my job, who like a lot of divisive speech talks in my life, and I have a separating from my relative and friends. And then always like a say bad thing behind me, many different way to harms. That's whoever harms that kind of like an enemy.
So that's the
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think of it, I
Well, he's
say,
talking about gossip, like idle gossip, but like it can include more than that, really, right? So like it could be like harmful intention, harmful communication. Communication can be nonverbal.
I think I'm
Right.
talking about my aversion object is the
Mhm.
when I think of it, because I think of it, they say put, you know, for me, for when you take refuge, you put your enemies in front of you. But the way that I read it in another thing was think about people you have aversion to, you know, like that's to work on that. That sounds better to me than, like you said, than enemy, because I'm like, I don't think I have anybody that actually wants to harm me, like, you know, physically, at least I don't think so.
I
Mhm.
kind of think of it that way.
English
too,
enemy,
as a
someone
version.
wants to literally kill you, or it's a very powerful
I see,
word.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one part of the harming. Yeah. But Tibetan word da, we say da. It's like usually we say inner enemy and external enemy. Within these two, inner enemy is more danger, which is like our all these mental afflictions. So how it harms, then you can measuring how externals are. So whoever harms,
Yeah, but then like
this is the enemies. Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
reduce all
Yeah.
the internal affliction, then there is no external aversion.
Yeah, it's like it's almost as if they put the label, because we see that in so much literature. It's almost like the author is putting the label enemy on many things that are negative for us.
Yeah.
Like, because you're right, in our vocabulary,
Mhm.
they're not actually an enemy, but spiritually, they are an enemy. They have the power to steer us off the path or to cause, you know, negative emotions to arise. So even if someone is friendly to you, they could easily be an enemy. A friend who's like, come on, let's go get drunk.
Right.
That's an enemy
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
this context. And I think they use that a lot.
It's like it's
In the
the
sutras.
opposite of the supportive spiritual friend that's from like the Sangha, that's supporting the Sangha and the Triple Gem.
So yeah, it's remind me said in enemy is not necessary to be have a horn. Enemy could be talk nice to you, right? Gentle to you, but as like Eric described, it's actually harms, right? This is kind of like an enemy. But many people think that I do not have an enemy. It could be maybe they are different the perspective to thinking enemies, but everyone has the people there who don't like it. We dislike them. We something that someone there we don't like it. Everyone had it, right? Don't say I like everyone. So disliking people there. Sometime when we meditate compassion, when we're training or exercising to develop compassion, we need to be focused on 3%, right? One is could be the enemy. And then say, I don't have an enemy, what will you do? Then you should put the who people you dislike. So this is similarly. Yeah. Okay. Any other question online? Hmm.
Yes, I have a question, Geshe. Can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. What does it mean when the Dalai Lama says, quite often I've heard him say this in different talks. He'll say, oh, sometimes your friend can become your enemy, and sometimes your enemy or our enemy can become our friend. What is that in context with the uh Lojong mind training, or is this some other context? I've heard him say it so many times, and it sounds very profound.
No, this is actually happening in our life, daily life. So Dalai Lama said it, also Nagarj, like Shantideva text said, is one moment it's turned into the enemy, and then another moment's turned to the friends, right? Say we are, let's say, giving example, we are in a red light, right? And then we're standing there to cross the road, and just someone comes there, and then we talk. Then just become a friend at that moment. But the same, the next time, sometimes we become a friends, and then hanging together continuously, and then at the moment that sometimes they talk some bad things and turn into the like it's separating, right? This is the way of life. This is the life actually. No need a logic for that.
There's both literal, like you're saying, like a person who is your friend, you can have an argument and never want to speak with them again. It happens.
Yeah.
But there's also the spiritual level where you realize that someone you used to hate
Mm-hmm.
can actually teach you.
Mm-hmm.
They become your spiritual friend in the way that, like, oh, I'm the one at fault. I'm the one feeling the hate. They're not my enemy. And they become your friend. And
In your
opposite,
mental
also,
health.
you friends who have negative influence on you,
Yeah.
you realize they're my enemies. So I think there's a literal way to take it, but also a spiritual way to think about it on your path.
Yeah, that's true. It's many different way we see. So one person sometimes become a friend, sometimes become like a turn into the enemy. Again, same become a friend. Again, same enemy. This is our life.
It could also be like misperception, right, of causes and
This is the
conditions.
cause how it's like it
Right.
become a separate. Yeah. So yeah. So I don't think it's need a logic. It's not really profound because it sees in our daily life.
But I don't think they always, we're saying friend and enemy, but that's what my point was initially, is that they don't have to be, they can go down to middle where it's neutral.
Could
You
be,
don't
yeah.
have to become, as we call an enemy. They can certainly become a more neutral kind of person where you don't really hate them, but you don't really love them either. It's better to be neutral.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Isn't there also a context that a person who is our enemy in one lifetime, who has done us terrible wrong, might be our loving mother in the next life,
Yeah, regarding Buddhism, yes.
or vice versa?
Oh yeah, or it was our mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
with Ananda? Is that the one Ananda, like eating the mother, beating the father, like where they come in the house and like the guy that was cradling his worst enemy, that it was his child.
Yeah. This is just giving example how karma works, and that's how it's happening regarding Buddhism. Yes, yeah, Buddhist.
Yeah, not just that they can become but they will become your mother.
Yeah, and is better to think
Well,
that
they
way.
have to.
Right? Whoever doing bad, there was my mother's. Right. Yeah.
There's also another facet of this too, which is interesting, is if you look at Lojong and you look at like 8 verses for training the mind, even if someone whom I've helped and I've had great hopes, nevertheless harms me for no reason, may I view him or her as my holy spiritual guide, as if we learn about ourselves. And I remember many Hindu friends I have, they say, oh, usually the person you have the most trouble with what you're really seeing is yourself in the mirror. I think that's interesting too.
Yeah, yeah. So can I take one advantages that you all saying beautiful things and nice things? It is like a really it is what we learn from text. I'm taking advantage, just reminding. It's taking advantage, chance, right? To remind, to practice. So it's really happening in your daily life, how you understand right now. In the moment, someone, some harms and some say bad things. At the moment, you can really think they are our teachers, or you can really think they are our mothers, or not. That's again back to caution for ourselves to make stronger what we knows, right? So I always try not missing these things because it's so beautiful that you knows. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sometimes it's not just you all, just it's always happening with me. I knows, but at the moment, really difficult, right? So cannot do anything. Whatever I know is I have to put it aside, and then what else I can do it. So, but yes, this is the always need help at the moment. Again, I'm going back. It's depend on your daily the practice to apply on the practice what we knows. Even not happening anything, I'm happy, right? And I have a good time, right? But still, I'm praying if someone hits me, if someone said bad things to me, what I should do, or instead of thinking that just generally cultivate that person or this person or that person's being my mothers, being my relative, even not mothers, we do have a connected, we do depend on each other. So therefore, just cultivating, or I always try to be kind to with that person and this person. So that kind of thing, if we think every day, and that is the lot of help, really a lot of help. Yeah. I'm not saying you're not doing it, but some of us, or I myself, are not doing it. It's just reminding it. Okay. Okay, so we're going to stop here, and then next we're going to start in these great oceans. Okay.
Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful long vacation. Well, one long weekend. What to say? It's long weekend.
Okay.
Long weekend. Yeah.